Leveling up. Extreme business growth through raising your game. When what was once extraordinary becomes ordinary, you know you've leveled up.
Hi, this is George Swift from Bigger, Brighter, Bolder, and welcome to the Leveling Up Podcast. The Leveling Up Podcast is here to give you the personal development, the entrepreneurial development, and the business growth that you, the ambitious business owner, desires. I'm here to give you the inspiration, the motivation, but above all else, to challenge your aspirations to take you and your business to the next level. Don't forget, subscribe to this podcast so you never miss an episode. In this episode, I'm going to challenge you to light up. I'm going to challenge you to illuminate the world around you. Last week, I was on a big mission to light a fire under the arses of all small business owners. How do I do that? By getting them to unite, to get them to realize they're important, they're significant, to understand that whilst they're small and seemingly inconsequential at first glance, nothing could be further from the truth. The world is a better place because of small business owners just like you, and therefore you owe it to us to be successful, and we owe it all to each other to be successful so that we can create a better world for everybody. Today, I want to talk to you about how you can illuminate the world, a fluffy term for actually some functional stuff I'm going to be sharing with you, how you can illuminate the world around you by becoming much more successful. And to do that, I want to share with you a metaphor concept. It's what I call the currency model. So think about currency. All I've done is put a non-silent T in the middle. So it's current C. The reason being, the current, which is electrical current that passes through a circuit, as it passes through the light bulb, it lights up the bulb. The degree of energy flowing through that circuit will determine the brightness of that bulb. I know there's other factors, but let's not get into that right now. Fundamentally, the model works if you say the more current flowing through that light bulb, the brighter that bulb will illuminate its surroundings. And we're exactly the same. I went on a bit of a moan, a bit of a whinge, a bit of a rant, which is a common theme for me these days around big mega corporations and the negative impact, the harmful impacts they're having on the world and the planet and society as a whole in many cases. And you'd think that they were taking the lion's share of the money that's available, but actually it's not true. 52% of all turnover in the UK is from small businesses. The majority of those small businesses are one-person outfits. So if you're a one-man band, you make up the majority of small businesses in the UK, and between us collectively, businesses under 50 people, there's 5.94 million of us out of the 6 million businesses in the UK are responsible for 52% of turnover. We also hire 3/5 of the entire workforce in the UK. So actually, we're not so inconsequential after all. You're not so inconsequential after all because you're part of something so much bigger. You're part of something so much more important than just your single business. So coming back to the currency model, instead of thinking of the electrical circuit with an electrical current passing through it, imagine it's like an economic circuit with money running through it. And whilst we might imagine these mega corporations are taking the lion's share out of that money, the truth is it's much more evenly split than we might think, roughly 50-50. The difference is, of course, individual monolithical corporations are taking disproportionate amounts of that energy. And we as individuals are taking very small amounts of that energy, but collectively we are still 50% of that circuit. Now, individually, if we can shine brighter, then collectively we will start to shine brighter. And if collectively we can take more of the share of the financial current, that can only be a good thing for society. It's going to benefit you, your family, your lifestyle, your loved ones for sure. But it's also going to benefit all of your customers, clients. It's going to also benefit the society that you're part of. Because when all individuals collectively add a little bit back to society, society improves. Whereas if big corporations are disproportionately taking from society, disproportionately siphoning off that economic current, then that has to be bad for society. Now, this week, I'm not going to go on the rant. I'm not going to go on the Witch Hunt for Big Mega Corporations. If you're interested in that stuff, go and listen to last week's episodes. This episode is all about the importance of you becoming financially successful, which I do touch on last week. It's important that you become financially successful because it's important that the money passes through you and your business. You see, money is just a facilitator, it's just an energy like electrical current. If electricity passes through a circuit that does good, then the more electricity that goes through that circuit, the more good that is done. If electricity goes through a circuit that does harm, then the more electricity that goes through that circuit, the more harm that is done. So for me, instead of trying to pull down corporations or pull down mega companies that are potentially not treating the planet well, the animal kingdom well, not treating their employees that well, not necessarily even treating their clients that well, what we need to do actually is just take more for ourselves, become more successful. Not only will our life individually light up, but obviously everything we touch will light up because every small business that I know is trying to do right, not just by themselves or their business or their employees, and not just doing right by their family, but they're also trying to do right by their customers. They're trying to do right by society, by the planet, by the world. Every small business I know has the same common aligned values and morals. None of them would make money at the expense of harming other people. None would take money at the expense of harming their employees. They couldn't sleep at night. They couldn't live with themselves. So you can imagine when collectively 50% of this economic current is passing through businesses that are trying to give back and do right by their people and are doing the right things and are benefiting society on the whole, you can see we want more of that to pass through those businesses. We need more of that to pass through your business, to pass through your hands. We need good people to make more money. We need good businesses to make more money. Now, I've been championing small business growth for years. Our success groups is 8.5 years, coming up for 9 years old. Our business, Bigger, Brighter, Bolder, is coming up for 11 years old. The whole time I've been championing people like yourself to become more successful. But more than ever before, right now, in the world we're living in right now, we need each other to become successful. We need to unite together, support each other, to champion each other, because we need small businesses to be successful. The more current that goes through a good circuit, then the more good that is done. Therefore, we want to make sure that we siphon off more of that financial energy into those businesses that are doing right by the planet, the animals they might be working with, society as a whole, their employees and their customers. So imagine we have now our electrical circuit that instead of electricity is money. Money's flowing through this economic circuit. There's a few huge monolithical beasts of light bulbs that are consuming so much of that energy, disproportionate amounts of that energy. And instead of shining and illuminating wonderful things and greatness on the planet, it's all about the consumption of that energy. How can they get as much of that energy? How can they disproportionately satiate their greed for more and more and more of that financial energy? And then peppered millions of small businesses, small little light bulbs, peppered in the circuit that feel like they're just trying to get a little bit for themselves, just a little bit of leftovers. But they're realizing that if you could step back from this circuit, the amount of light that would be given off by this circuit, whilst 50-50 in terms of the financial current is passing through small businesses, actually the majority of what's good is actually coming from those small businesses. Therefore, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your employees, you owe it to your customers, you owe it to your society, you owe it to civilization as a whole in this country and the world to be successful, to be financially successful. It's your absolute duty, it's your obligation to the rest of us to become financially successful. Because just like a light bulb, the more energy that comes through it, the more it will shine. The more light it will emit, the more it will get rid of the shadows and the darkness. The more money that passes through your business, the more you get to illuminate your world. And the more good you get to do. And the more that light will eradicate the shadows and the darkness that might be present from other organizations and businesses and mega corporations that just aren't interested in bettering society in the same way. Companies that might employ some very expensive people to come up with very clever campaigns to make it look like they care, to make it look like their products are healthy, to look like they're contributing to society, when behind the scenes, they're greedy fat cats trying to consume as much of that energy as humanly possible. We're going through some really dark times and really challenging times across the world. In this country right now, we are faced with real uncertain times, as I know many other countries are. We don't know whether our businesses are going to be open next week, the week after. We don't know what handouts are going to be on offer. And it's really important that we don't rely on external circumstances for our own success. So I encourage all business owners out there, all small business owners, to take what's on offer, to get what is rightfully yours. And if there's help on offer, by all means accept it, especially if you need it. But if you become financially viable in your own right, independently of handouts, if you wean yourself off the bosom of government, as I've referred to it many times before, you become a sovereign entity, independent of external influence. It's so important that we all thrive and we build our businesses in a way that we continue to thrive. Because if small businesses start to fold and fail, and the big corporations take increasing percentages of what's on offer, then they get to determine and dictate more of what society and civilization is like, and we have less influence over that. And you've only got to see the values and the morals of the two different types of business to see which one you want to have influence over your society, over your community, over your part of the world and the globe as a whole. At the moment, Oxfam, I referred to this in my episode last week, Oxfam said 109 billion has been made by 32 of the world's biggest companies. At the same time, 500 million people have been plunged into poverty around the world. 400 million jobs have already been lost. More will definitely come, we know that. And 430 million small businesses are at risk. If 430 million businesses go under, that's nearly a third of all businesses in the world. That's a huge amount of light that the world has lost. That's a huge amount of positive energy that the world has lost. And therefore, we can do our bit. And doing our bit is, support each other. Realize we're all on the same side. Unite. But actually, you know what your bit is? To be successful. To make money. To take more of that financial current, pass it through your business, through your life, because you are doing good with it. And we need good people like you to make more money. And this is something I'm increasingly vocal about, increasingly championing. And it was the Oxfam report that I shared last week that said categorically that what lockdown has done and the coronavirus has done is it's showing us the model of the economic world that we live in and how it favors the richest off the back of the poorest. As I said last week, I'm not saying for a minute that you and I are the poorest, right? We know there's extreme poverty around the world. But what the report showed is that while the fattest are getting fatter, the people with the emptier, barer cupboards are the ones that are increasingly having less. So whilst you might not be the poorest, I might not be the poorest, the bottom line is really simple. We are the ones paying the biggest price right now. And the way we step up and the way that we give back more and the way that we are a better influence on society and the way that we get to influence much more of how our societies are formed and the moral fabric of our societies, of our country, of our world, is we become more successful. We become more successful. We become more financially successful. More of that energy passes through our hands, through our businesses. The more good that we do, the more we light up our communities, and the more we push away any shadows or darkness that may exist. So I'm championing you. I'm challenging you to step up and be more successful. To stop thinking of yourself as a small little entity, inconsequential, just trying to get by, and to step up and realize you're part of something so big. You're part of a huge community of small business owners just like yourself, sharing similar values and similar morals. And together, when we all light up, we illuminate more than we could ever imagine. And we want to continue to shine more of that light on the world around us, a world that increasingly needs us to do that. And so many small businesses are burdened with guilt around money. They're burdened with negative concepts around money, things that the big corporations just don't have. It's hard to imagine that massive corporate CEO going to bed having sleepless nights because he's making too much money or charging too much for his products, or is he giving enough value and service in the products that he's giving? It's hard to imagine that mega corporate CEO going to bed worrying about what he's doing to the planet, worrying about what he might be doing to his customers. It's hard to imagine the mega corporate CEO of a fast food chain going to bed worrying about the health of his customers, worrying about the toxicity and the poisons that are contained in his products. But you do. If you're like any small business I know, you do go to bed sometimes feeling guilty that your life is too good, or guilty that you're making too much money, or feeling bad that you want more. You do go to bed thinking, how can I do more? How can I do better? Am I worthy? Am I doing enough? Am I giving enough? Most business owners, they're burdened with these things. But these things that they're burdened with, whilst they hold them back in business, are also the very things that mean that the business they're doing is so worthwhile. So what I spend a lot of my time doing is not trying to change someone from being a heart-centered, heartfelt, good, kind-hearted person trying to do good things with their business and turn them into a corporate CEO that just wants money. And that's not what I do. What I do is I allow these businesses to continue what they're doing and all the good that they're doing. What we do is we give them the commercial education. We give them the tip, the point of the arrow, which is commerce, in order for the cause, which is the shaft of the arrow, to push through out into the world and to do the good that every small business owner fundamentally at their boots is trying to achieve. So I don't want you to become cold. I don't want you to become heartless, a money grabber, looking at the bottom line. I don't want you to stop caring about how good your products are. But I don't want the guilt and I don't want those other things that are holding you back to get in the way of you becoming successful as you deserve to be. Because the more successful you are, the more financially successful that you are, the more good that you're going to do. The more energy that goes through a negative circuit, the more negativity it's going to produce. The more energy you put through a positive circuit, the more positivity it's going to create. You do good things, and therefore you need to do more of those good things. And the way you do that, the way you facilitate that, is you become more successful. You owe it to yourself, you owe it to me, you owe it to all other business owners, and you do owe it to society as a whole. It's not a burden, it's a duty, it's an obligation, it's an opportunity, it's a luxury to step up and be successful as you deserve to be, to step up and be financially successful as you do deserve to be, as you need to be, as you should be. And if every single one of us steps up and becomes more successful, then the world will be a much, much better place. Nice one, guys. Thank you very much. If you're interested in finding out a little bit more about myself and about my company, Bigger, Brighter, Bolder, and our success groups, then please do go and check out our website, biggerbrighterbolder.co.uk. I'll drop the link in the descriptions of this episode. If you're a small business and you want to know what's going to take to hit 100K or more, then we've got groups to help you right now. If you're just starting out in business, you want to make sure you get going with the right foot forward. It's tough times out there, I'll be honest with you. You want to make sure you're doing the right things. We definitely have a group ready for you as well. And if you've been in business a little while, you've got a little bit of success under your belt, maybe doing 100K, 200K, 300K, who knows, maybe even doing up towards 500,000, but you want to start to really scale your business and you want to be around like-minded individuals and business owners to share ideas, support each other, to hold each other accountable, we've got a group perfect for you as well. So whether you're starting out, whether you're building your business, or whether you're scaling your business, we have groups ready for you right now of people just like you, with morals and values aligned with you, who are growing their businesses, becoming more successful, exactly as you deserve to. I'll see you next time. Until then, as always, be successful.
Leveling up. Extreme business growth through raising your game. When what was once extraordinary becomes ordinary, you know you've leveled up.